All right, hello and welcome everybody to another edition of the Rithmm Rundown with myself, Josh Applebaum, my buddy Cade Harper, and everyone out there. You are in for a very special treat because we got the third man coming in, our buddy Adam Rosenberg, very busy guy, super sharp guy, great guy overall, and he spent some time or found a way to give us some time here tonight. So we're very excited to have Adam on the program, and we're going to have Adam answer some questions for us. I'm looking forward to one thing that is fun to me, Adam, working with Cade and just looking at how Rithmm can help bettors, cash tickets, is how do you use Rithmm? It's a really cool product where, we get so much incredible, useful information, but everyone kind of takes a little bit of a different approach. And I think that's cool. The more things you can learn from other bettors or little intricacies, or I know you're really dialed in with Megan and Brian, and kind of a lot of the back end stuff that's going on. So really excited to have you on and pick your brain. But of course, tonight's show, it's going to be a lot of college basketball because what else would we want to bet on college hoops? Reminder, Rithmm does have NBA models that are locked and loaded, player props, spread money line. Pretty soon we're going to have baseball. Cade and Adam, they were actually talking a little MLB right before we started here. So I can't wait to get MLB back in our daily lives. But hey, the weather, Adam, you're in Massachusetts like me. So it's struggling here with the winter. I'm ready for spring, but you can kind of feel the snow melting a bit. And it's the excitement of March Madness. We're kind of at the tail end of the season where we're looking at already small conference tournaments in play, but kind of end of regular season with senior nights. And I've been doing pretty decent with these short home favorites. So it's going to be a lot of fun here tonight about games and get another perspective from our buddy Adam. So welcome in. So I want to say, Cade, how you doing, buddy? And then Adam, welcome as well.
Yeah, we're back. This is fun with a guest. We haven't done this with three people before. I feel weird. I'm like used to
It's a different vibe. It's like someone coming into your room and being like, "What are you guys playing with? Can I play?"
My face is so skinny. But yeah, no, this is going to be awesome. We're in the thick of the college basketball season now, where it is officially March. Models are off to a hot start. I know I've been tweeting like crazy about these conference tournaments and the mid majors, which have been absolutely crushing lately. And yeah. Like I said, I was stoked for this show all week. So, yeah, I'm ready to continue that on.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys all can't see, but like Josh and I go. So Josh was like one of the first people when I got involved in betting that I tweeted at and was like, yeah, I'll let you in my DMs. And so I have this great exchange from us from 2019, I think it is, where I'm just saying something to him about double-digit dogs, and he just said, "Yeah, you're right." And I felt
like, "Oh,
amazing.
You're cool. I like you already."
Cool.
Yeah,
yeah. I have his book behind me, and then we get to work together, so it's great. Yeah, dude, this is the weekend. Like next week's gonna be the bigger stuff, and that's fine. But these tournaments, like this is where Rithmm crushes it, and this is also where degenerates like me really have a good time because it's these like low ticket kind of, you could really sense the signal type of things. You get to really know Missouri and Illinois and Indiana and these states and these smaller schools. I'm right now sweating out Drake 4.5. The Arch Madness is live. So I'm pretty excited to get into some of these games with you guys.
Awesome. And I totally agree, Adam. I think one thing that I really like about Rithmm as well is, it allows you to get these great models and act like your own professional. So a professional bettor, one thing that kind of differentiates them from other bettors is that a lot of them are setting their own numbers. So that means that they are taking their own power ratings like Cade does as well, and basically comparing what their numbers have to what the books have. And, Billy Walters is the king of this. He was kind of the first, back in the 80s, he created the computer group. I had researched him quite a bit when I was writing both of my books, but one thing that he did was he was really good at setting numbers better than what the odds makers were setting. So if he had, Iowa -3 and Iowa opens at -1, he's going to hammer that because his edge, an advantage over the book, is sharper than, what the book is offering. So the beauty of Rithmm is that we have that ability to act like a Billy Walters, to act like a wise guy, because Rithmm is going to tell us, hey, Manhattan plus 2.1 tonight, and they're getting +3. Therefore, you have an edge compared to the sports book. And the beauty of Rithmm too is that it's not going to be just your Kentucky, UNC, your Duke, your Houstons. It's these tiny little matchups, which I would argue that almost there's more value there because Glick has a mindset of, hey, if it's an added game, extra game. I always joke with Cade, if you can't name the two mascots for the teams, the game isn't on TV. If you got to pay for ESPN Plus to sweat the game, probably a good chance there that the public has no
if it
interest.
does not have a TV signal, one of those games where you're looking at it, Caden, I probably know. I don't know, Josh, have you ever used do you use Real Sports and then it'll say 3 seconds left in the game for like 20 minutes, and it's just, or ESPN won't even cover it. You just have to wait, and then you have to go on Twitter and go to their athletic department. No one else is that big of a degen? All right, fine. That's good.
Oh no, we've all been there, man. Don't worry, we're right there with you. But again, that's kind of the beauty of Rithmm to me, just to give you another piece of information to help you make smart bets, help you cash some tickets. Now, before I pick your brain out, because I want to kind of start off with asking you a couple questions, and then Kate, I know you have 4 games lined up. I got 2 games lined up that I'm excited to talk about. I'm going to share my screen just so we can add in the Rithmm homepage, because there's something, if you haven't noticed, very, very cool that has been added to the Rithmm homepage. And this is the fact that we have these brackets available to download and get prepared, because one thing I love about March Madness, guys, I look at it one of 2 ways. One, I can't wait to bet individual games each day of the tournament. But then number 2, I'm like everyone else. I like having a bracket. I like trying to beat my friends in an office pool. And Rithmm is going to really help you out, because on the homepage here, you can now request to build and generate your brackets. So I have a couple models that I've created. Cade, the one we created, the rundown, not too bad either. So I have that one lined up. So I'm really looking forward to getting these models so we can get locked and loaded here. Now, I also want to mention too, we have our Refer a Friend. This is just some basic housekeeping stuff. So if you have someone you know who might be interested in data-driven betting, or maybe has never been introduced to it, definitely recommend you refer a friend. You both get a little sweetener there. You have our Discord channel. And if you do want to get a little discount here, use promo code START25 for 25% off. But I want to now pitch it to you, Adam. I got 2 questions for you, because everyone knows who you are, but there might be a few people who don't. Give me a quick bio. Who are you? And how do you use Rithmm to your advantage?
Okay, so one thing I want to really, first of all, we look great in a quad box, guys. Like, take a look at this. We look good. We quad looks good
around, man. You tell me which one you like the most.
Dude, the 4, I thought we looked great. So I'm Adam Rosenberg. Everybody calls me Berg. And I host a couple shows for SGPN, which is another friend of Rithmm. Sometimes I'm on VSiN, and I'm a big baseball guy. Cade and I have done some baseball pods and stuff together. And I actually, got into betting pretty late, all things considered. I didn't do it in high school like everybody else seemed to. I did it in my late 30s. And then I read Josh's book. This is not really just me hawking on my friend's stuff, but I read Josh's book, and I just got really into betting. And and now I have 2 kids that make it so that my way of winding down after they don't go to sleep is to dive into numbers and metrics. So Rithmm, though, the thing with me and thing with betting in general, I'm not good at every sport, and I'm not going to be one of those guys who says I'm great at every sport. In fact, I stink at basketball. I really stink at basketball. I don't have a jump shot. At Pine Forest summer camp, I was great at roller hockey. I was great at baseball. I was great at soccer. Adam Rosenberg did not have a jump shot, and he does not have the ability to recognize a jump shot very well when it comes to betting those ball sports. But Rithmm's really, really good at college. And so I have used Rithmm religiously on college stuff. And I watch your guys' show, and I follow you guys on different information. Cade's like practically an originator on college, because I get notifications of his stuff going in at like 2 a.m. when the line drops. It's super sharp. But I use Rithmm because it basically, I know I want to have action in this stuff. There's not, NFL's not happening right now. So I want to have a stake in the game, and I just would rather, frankly, trust the computer. And so I trust the robots. I have a couple models I took from the leaderboard. I have a model that I made, and I have two models from the leaderboard that have done really well. And what I do is every single time, every day, I go probably like after 10 a.m. between 10 and 12, I found is like a sweet spot for getting in my college bets for the day. And I just take the first 3 on spreads. I take the first 3 on totals, and I try not to like dig for too much stuff, and I have a lot of fun with it. But Rithmm's been really good to me. Rithmm's paid for my daughter's dance camp. It's sort of all worth it. And I'm really excited about the next 10 days of college basketball. We get day basketball. We get I think next week we're gonna have games starting at 9 a.m. all day. Then we get March Madness where we get games starting at 8. It's gonna be great for everybody.
No, I really think that's awesome and a great way of kind of explaining or just, showing people how there are different ways to approach it. So, I think the easiest way, and I'm not going to say it's easy, sports betting is hard. You got to grind, all that being said. But the easier way to use Rithmm is to just go to the game predictions and go straight to the smart signals. Like to me, if you want a starting point, if you want to look at the highest graded models, just boom, we got them right here for you. So, for example, Florida International tonight, Green Star recommended play, smart signal detected. That could be, worth a look here. Now, I'm going to kind of walk through a couple games that I'm looking at, guys, and I want to get your take if you have any insight into them. And then we can kind of, go through each game, throw some angles out to each other and hopefully help people cash some tickets. Yeah. The first one that I wanted to go to was Western Kentucky and Missouri State. So this is... Yeah, see if we can find this one right here. This one jumped out to me because it's not like the perfect play. Like my angles are always trying to is doing and then also lining that up with Rithmm. So I use Rithmm as a cherry on top. If I can start off with my personal perspective of betting sports, which is, first let's start off with the line movement. Which direction did the line move? That's a starting point. What are the bet splits? At VSiN, you can get the DraftKings and Circa splits. Next, let's look at system matches. Then, again, all the other supplementary factors like Ken Palm or other analytics. Last thing is let's pop open Rithmm and see what they have predicted for me. And ideally, Rithmm is going to say, yeah, this is a play that you should make. We have an edge on it. So this one jumped out to me, guys. This is one of the plays that I made here. I moneylined Western Kentucky. They come in 18-11. They've won 6 straight. You look at Missouri State, they're 13-16. They've lost 7 straight. Now, it seems obvious to take Western Kentucky here just because it's a short number and they are the better team, better record, playing better. But I think it's important to not just, automatically do something based on narrative, but also look at how the betting market has reacted. So if we look at this game, we opened Western Kentucky at a lot of shops, like a 1-point favorite. At one point, they got up to as high as -2.5, -3. Now, that line has come down a little bit. You're back down to around 1.5 or so. But from open to current, I mean, all movement and liability seems to me to be on the side of Western Kentucky. The other thing that I look at, if you look at some bet splits across the betting market, really good splits here on a money line for Western Kentucky just to win this game. You can get them as low as -130, somewhere around there. But they're getting around 70% bets, more than 80% of dollars at DK. They also have a sharp split at Circa as well.
Really sharp split, sir. I have that in front of me right now. That I was waiting for you to get to that. Talk about
give
that.
Give me the updated number, Adam. Yeah, what's it now?
It's something like this is. I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's like these are one of those ones. Like because I don't care about. I don't let splits always guide, but when it's something like this, you have to. They're complete opposite sides, and so like Western Kentucky's getting like it's a 66-33 split and then flipped around between each side on Circa versus what it is on DraftKings. So basically what that's telling you is that wise guys and like Circa's a sharp betting place. Like no one's really like betting at Circa unless you're sharp. Yes, they have a commercial app, but it's basically saying that like guys who are moving lines are like really, really into this Western Kentucky team and they're getting some public money as well, but the splits are pretty nuts when you go to Circa and you look at this.
Yeah, and I think good point by you. Like I get into debates. I used to argue with people all the time because there's a group of betting Twitter, #gambling Twitter, that gets super triggered by bet splits. And they're like, there's this crowd of bet splits mean nothing. Bet splits are ridiculous. If you use bet splits, you're a complete moron. And I'm like, I used to argue with these people and I said, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. What that, remember in Family Matters when Steve Urkel would annoy his dad or was it uncle? I forgot who it was. But he'd go 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. What the heck is bothering me? And it's like, I'm not going to argue with you people anymore. Bet splits aren't the end all be all, but they are an indicator, which you want to at least be aware of and apply to your handicap. So what I like to do is I want to be ideally contrarian at DraftKings, getting less than half the tickets. I want low bets, higher dollars at Circa. And Adam, you explained it perfectly. Circa caters to a clientele of sharper bettors. They don't turn them away. They have higher limits. So we can add those two along with some liability in terms of line movement or a side being juiced up. You can layer in a few other angles that I look at, like Ken Palm. Highly respect Ken Palm. He has Kentucky only winning by 1. So I want to money line Western Kentucky, protect ourselves here. But also they have the better offensive efficiency, defensive efficiency, big advantage in free throw shooting. They hold their opponents to a better effective field goal percentage. And they've played much better in conference play, 11-7 versus 7-11. And they add more rebounds per game, 40 versus around 35. So that's all, homework we've done prior to opening up
defense
Rithmm.
in the conference too. Number 1 defense in the conference is Western Kentucky.
Love that. Yeah. So we'll take that, put it in our back pocket. And then last step is always, hey, what is Rithmm telling us? So my first model you can kind of flip it. So Western Kentucky minus 1.1, nothing huge there. Second model, here we go. I'm starting to get excited. Western Kentucky minus 2.6, quite a bit higher, or at least a full point off the 1.5. Third model that Cade and I created, minus 2.1. But I always love it when we can get a green star recommended play here. Western Kentucky basically hitting all the benchmarks that Rithmm is looking at in order to become a green star, telling us to money line the Hilltoppers here. So the market aligned with Rithmm told me, let's sweat the Hilltoppers here tonight on the money line. So I'll throw it to you, Cade. Thoughts on Western Kentucky and Missouri State?
There's one formula that I've been using within Rithmm for one thing, and that little research tab that everybody seems to always forget about. And on these short lines, I absolutely love to look at it, and I adore to look at it. And that is rebounding and free throws. See, so Missouri State is roughly, you kind of hit on a little bit of it as far as rankings go. They are a better rebounding team. They are a better free throw shooting team. They are a better scoring team. Like overall, Western Kentucky's like top to bottom almost in almost every category, other than the miscellaneous ones that don't really matter that much, like steals and maybe assist or something like that. Nonetheless, the rebounding difference is looking at 35 to 30 per game. And offensively, it is vastly. So you're looking at double digits versus single digits on second chance opportunities. Huge, regardless of like home advantage, whatever you want to call it, neutral sites. These schools are no bigger than my high school gym. It doesn't really affect much. The crowd's not really going to be bouncing off the floors. You're not going to be shaking on the court, whatever. It doesn't really affect that much, unfortunately. Sorry if that offends any of the mid-major crowd, but it just doesn't happen. But yes, it's such a simple formula. They lead in protecting the ball as far as turnovers go. Free throws, it's so key, because those late game fouling situations where they might be like, say they're up like 2 or whatever, and you're down like 20 seconds left. You hit those free throws, obviously, not only are you covering, but it's just like you're carrying away with the game at that point. Nonetheless, that's why we moneyline the short favorites, obviously. Had way too many of those instances, which that's a different story. But yeah, said it's a simple formula. I love the short line money, or the money line short favorites, especially with Rithmm recommending these lately. They've been really, really good on the short money lines lately.
Yeah, great point, Cade. And Adam, let me throw it to you. Cade sets his own numbers. I'm looking at the market, leaning on other factors as well. Do you strictly, Adam, go off of what Rithmm is looking at? What other resources do you use? Are you a Ken Pom, Bart Torvik? Like, what research goes into? Because I think a lot of people are saying, hey, Rhythm's great, but I want to do some maybe old school pen and paper research of my own to make me feel like I've done some work to make an informed play. So what are your resources for college hoops?
I use Ken Pom. I use Bart Torvik a little bit too, but I usually use Ken Pom because Ken Pom has stuff like Kate has the same thing. You mentioned that I care about. The first thing on all of this is you have to figure out for the sport what you care about that's shifting for you. For me, it's free throws, it's rebounding, and in college, it's age. So that's something that's kind of a big deal for Western Kentucky. This Western Kentucky team is noticeably more senior than this other team. This is men. So and when in college, it's very different because when you have 17 and 18-year-olds who are playing against 21, 22-year-olds, it's a huge difference. It's like me going to the rec league. So, and I mean that in that I'm not good. So Western Kentucky has such a phenomenal advantage here where they are you could look at this on Ken Pom and their experience are 84th in experience, average of almost 2 years per player. And the experience level on FIU 204th. And this is out of 300 schools. So this is just the exact opposites of places. It's continuity with offenses. So That and the free throw stuff sticking out is a pretty big deal to me, because that's how short spread, especially on short spreads. So if it's a short spread, the first thing I'm looking at is, can somebody close this out? Because college, here's a spoiler on college. None of these kids can hit their free throws. Also, none of these kids know what to do in a trap. You'll notice this big time in the tournament, but none of these
even
kids
inbound the ball.
They can't even inbound the ball. It's ridiculous. None of these kids know what to do when they get into a trap, and none of these kids know how to free throw. So if you can find those that actually know how to do it, and you have a short spread, you got to take that. And so I'm with you guys on this one.
Nice. Let's see if we can hopefully cash with the Hilltoppers here. And then reminder, if you are unaware, the team at Rithmm done a fantastic job by adding this kind of basically a bet sync where, again, you line up your sports books, you go find the book offering the best price. So the last step anytime you're betting is, okay, I've decided who I want to go with for whatever reasons that you feel are valuable, or you're tailing a Rithmm recommendation. Let me go bet it at the book, giving me the best odds here. So if you had a no-vig Polymarket account, boom, you can click the icon. It'll go right to the book. You can go play it. And again, look at the difference. Like Caesars is closer to minus 145. So shopping for the best number, Rithmm makes it very easy for you to find the best price. So let's go Hilltoppers. Now I got one more for you, and then I'm going to let Cade loose because I know Cade's got a bunch of games he wants to hit on. But we were talking earlier about tiny little games. Again, can you name me the mascots? And I got one for you a little bit later tonight. This is a 9:00 game, and it happens to be, let me find it for you, Pine Bluff and Alcorn State. So, again, I love the off-the-radar, off-the-beaten path.
What is this, the SWAC? This is crazy. Yeah, let me look
Love
this one
the
up.
SWAC.
Love this.
And you know what, Adam?
Love it.
You were joking about this earlier. Like, I don't know how you can watch this game. So this might be one
I don't
of those
know
games
either.
where my wife is watching the Love is Blind latest episode, and I am stat tracking on ESPN Old School, which, by the way, I don't know if you guys agree, I hate the way they revamped the play-by-play. Have you guys noticed this?
Yeah.
It's like, why reinvent the wheel? It's just super annoying, so don't even get me started. But quick synopsis of this one, same sort of thing. I think if you are looking at Western Kentucky, to me, Pine Bluff here is worth a bet. So Pine Bluff comes in 12-18. Now, this is a gross one because they got a bad record. They've lost 5 of their last 6. Alcorn State, even worse. They're 8-21. Did just have a win. They beat Mississippi Valley State, but I think Mississippi Valley State is like 3-21 on the year. Just some awful record. But once again, beauty of Rithmm is, giving us great, indicators on games that people don't want to bet. So what I like about this one is you look at Pine Bluff. They open as a very short, like 1-point favorite. They've gotten bet up to minus 1.5. They actually touched as high as 2.5 earlier today. This line's never gotten down to a pick or hopped the fence toward Alcorn -1. So we've shown liability here on Arkansas Pine Bluff. Dig a little deeper, some good splits that jumped out to me at DK. Only about 57% tickets, but 80% dollars are going with Pine Bluff. Also good split at Circa, 67% bets, over 90% dollars. And the other angle is it's an added extra game. So anytime you see these tiny little matchups with a 6-digit rotation number, 306, 587, 306, 588, those are the games that are hard to find on your betting app. Sometimes you got to scroll or click another tab. And then if you're looking at walking up to a window in person, usually they're the hard to find games that you have to, walk up and give this number to because the ticket writers may not even know who you're talking about. Ken Palm's got him by 1. He's got Pine Bluff ranked quite a bit higher. It's a money line short favorite play for me. And then you also look at advantages here: offensive efficiency, effective field goal percentage, free throw shooting, defending the shot, effective field goal percentage for the other team. All pretty, basically, pointing in one direction in favor of Pine Bluff. So I like Pine Bluff from a low bet, obscure, unknown game, line movement splits, all that kind of stuff. I love all 3 of my models, even though they might not be green stars or smart signals, are with me saying Pine Bluff. So first model, house model, -1.2, not a huge edge on a 1.5, but all we need to do is win by 1. Model, -1.8, so a little bit more wiggle room. Third model that Cade and I created, -1.8. Fortunately, we don't have a Western Kentucky, Green Star money line on Pine Bluff. Two really bad teams. Public doesn't want to bet this game. Perspective and a Rithmm recommendation. I'm going Pine Bluff here. I think you can get Pine Bluff. Let's flip it the other way. Minus 120, as low as like minus 115. Any thoughts on this one? What do your numbers have for Pine Bluff and Alcorn State?
Let me look. I honest to God, overlooked this one a little bit just because it
I
wasn't.
can't imagine
really
why,
highlighted
Cade. How
on
did
mine.
you not
Yeah,
have
I
this
know.
number? How did
How
you not
dare
have
you?
this circle? How dare you?
Oh, one of the most biggest bet games of the night. I would love to see the tally on this one if there is. Let me. Yeah, mine were all cautions. Okay, so yeah, I have Pine Bluff 1.7 on mine, and then same for Rithmm as well. Pretty
Mine
much.
have 1 point. All mine like it. They're all caution. It's 1.6, and then 1.5, and then 1.7.
Okay.
I mean, they're good at their free throws, and that's the thing. Is like, I mean, this Alcorn State team. If you go like one of the things on Ken Palm, if you switch to in conference, like that's when you really see stuff. This Alcorn State team may be like really, really bad. Like really, really bad. Like there's some bright red. They're bottom of the conference. Like they foul the most out of any team in the conference, which is really bad when you're going against a team that makes the third most free throws in everything in the conference. Just not a recipe.
Well, it's never fun to bet on a losing team laying points on the road, but if you know, I'm the Dos Equis guy. If I do, hopefully it's against Alcorn State, one of the worst teams in all of college basketball. So that one lined up for me. Yeah, so those are my two best bets based on Rithmm and a market perspective: Western Kentucky money line and Pine Bluff money line. Cade, let's go to you, my man. Of all your four games, we can hit them all. We can hit pick and choose. But where would you like to begin?
I would love to hit them all, but I think two of them I've actually already started. One of them just finished. I completely forgot there was a 4:30 game on today. That was Drake. They actually just finished. Rhythm Short Dog, by the way, had that one. They actually went outright just now. Sick.
Oh, nice.
No, what was the other one? Bethune Cookman. And,
dude.
Florida A&M.
Ooh,
Yeah, let's do this one.
I know Adam
it's
likes
just
this
like
one
the
too.
bottle keeps popping on it. Talk about it, Cade.
There were. So mine, I know the rundown model specifically was giving A&M as a dog, like at like plus 2.5, I think. And then they also had a green star on the money line. I didn't have a play on the side. I was just going to let you guys kind of ramble on the side. Honestly, I took the over.
I mean, I'm going to take, so one of the things whenever I'm using Rithmm and anybody who's watching who's started with it, you start to notice patterns within Rithmm where like this Bethune Cookman game has literally been up for 24 hours. It's been one of the top three. If you see like Rhythm's trying to help you, and like where you don't do well with Rithmm is I see people not do well with Rithmm where when they scroll all the way down, they're like, I definitely want to bet this game. And Rhythm's like, it's the 15th one on my list. That's why I'm not telling you to bet it. But the Bethune Cookman by 1.5 has been on my list all day. It hasn't left. It's been in the top. It's in this model that I love, my Lambda model. Shout out Louis Skolnick, who passed away the other day. But this is it's like that. It loves the over too, Cade. So I don't know. Actually, talk me into that total though.
Total was interesting. Because it was something that I wasn't necessarily looking at initially first. My models have been like flipping so back and forth on this. Like as far as the side goes, like I know Josh, I just saw Josh's have like A&M on the money line, but Bethune Cookman minus 1.5. Pretty much mine were the same all day, but that over sat just so stagnant all day long. And the rundown model was the one that kind of pulled through at the end, finishing for me at a 57% win chance, projecting almost over a little over 3 points of the total. So we're sitting at roughly 147.5 as a projected right now. I'm projecting 149, which I also love. But yeah, simply put, I mean, we've talked about A&M in the past. Actually, I think with pretty recently, I think that was probably just a couple shows ago, maybe not, honestly, last week. I feel like we just played them not too long ago. Both of these teams, though, score. Florida A&M, I mean, more so at the 70 range, which isn't necessarily crazy. But the possessions per game is what I like a lot because it is a lot more than you would think. They both rebound really well. They actually grab a decent amount of rebounds per game on both sides, which basically creates a lot of opportunity. As far as like offensively, they don't really get second chance points on either side. Like there's not a huge advantage really. So I'm just expecting a lot of tempo more so in this kind of one. They attempt a decent amount of 3-pointer from the perimeters, which is a good thing to always look at. I know A&M's in the 20s. Bethune might be right on the edge of the 20s range if I had to guess. I didn't really look at that one off the top of my head, but attempts are always good because it means opportunity is always there. They pretty much just have to fall through, but nonetheless, they're good at it because A&M they hit decent percentages. Both defenses aren't necessarily like elite. They kind of balance out each other's weaknesses essentially. So like whether A&M's good at defending the perimeter, Bethune's actually good at shooting from the perimeter or whatever. Instances like that, their turnovers are created, possessions are created. It's a lot of opportunity. It's a decently lower total. So I'll take my chances on a model projecting over 4 points off. So I'll take that edge personally.
Yeah, makes sense, and I'm with you. All three of my models are on the over. So first model around 147.2, that gets you excited on an over 145.5. 145.4, you're kind of right on the number. 145.3. But that first model, again, I'm looking for at least, if I'm going to bet a total, I mean, perfect world, it's a green star, it's a smart signal, but can you get me like a 2-point edge, off of the current price? Like, Cade and Adam, a lot of times when we're looking at player props, or at least I do, I'm looking at like a 10-yard difference. Like if you're talking NFL, a pass catcher, like they're sitting at, 19 and a half, or I don't know, maybe 29 and a half in the betting market. Rithmm is predicting Dalton Kincaid to have 45. Like that right. To me is what excites me. With totals, obviously you're looking for more wiggle room than that. But one thing I would mention too is like neutral court games versus regular season games. Like you as a bettor have to do your research and know, is this a neutral site tournament game? Or is this a true home game? This is a true home game for Florida A&M. Why is that important? Because neutral sites, typically neutral court unders do pretty good because there's kind of the pressure of a tournament game, but really it's all about the familiarity. You don't typically know the backboards, the rims, the sight lines. You got some jitters. You're both technically the road teams. That historically has led to a lot of unders, which, to me, if I'm playing it over, I'd prefer a true home game versus a neutral court. So that's something I would definitely keep an eye out for. But I'm with you. Bethune, I was really close to playing, guys. I like this one angle here, but I got some conflicting signals that kind of had me lay off. But Cade, let's talk about your next one here. I'll be rooting for the over for you on that one.
A lot of the reason I just had that was also just because the last game that they played was headed at 170. So to think that this is 30 points under in a game that a lot of people are overlooking was another thing. But yeah. Like I said,
no, I'm with you on filling the over because it's the last final home game for Florida A&M. So generally, what you see in a lot of these when it comes down to this part of the season is more fouls towards the end because people are extending literally their careers. And it's because some of these guys aren't going to the NBA, they're not going to Greece, they're not doing that. And so it's an angle that really works over this next couple of weeks. Shout out Will Hill, who kind of a friend of Josh and mine, who kind of has really keyed in on this angle for the last 5 years. But it's end of the game, live overs and overs in general in this game because these teams will foul in the last couple of games of the season in conference tournament and right before conference tournament because they are literally extending their livelihood of their careers. So, yeah, I'm into it.
Great point.
Let me see. Next game that I had was in Memphis in South Florida.
Ooh, look at this. How dare you go to a main conference? How dare you go to one of these group of fives? What are you doing here? So
this one was really weird a lot all day as well because like the spot itself made me want to play a side, but again, I'm taking another total. I love I know my models didn't have it, and it's something I conflicted with all day, but I just decided to stick with the total. It feels like Memphis would be a really smart play just from a buy low standpoint because they literally seem like absolutely dead in the water here. But I don't know if any of my sickos are in here from how many times we backed USF so far this year. But this team can flat out score. Mine have the over on all three. Two of them are caution. The rundown had the over. Notes came down a little bit. I actually just still had it at 160.5 for minus 106. That was posted at FanDuel earlier today before it kind of ticked down a little bit. And let me see projection wise here. Looking at another one where it is projecting 165 flat on mine, and Rithmm as well is roughly 163.2, 161.3, which is another one of the caution flags. But like I said, that main one, which is a green star, is roughly at 165 flat. See, Josh's is the same, of course. Love it, because one thing, USF's offensive efficiency, they are so fun. Legitimately so fun. Like, I wanted to fade this team, but honestly, I just don't think I can. They're 82.4 offensive efficiency. They score at will. They just start firing up shots like there's literally no tomorrow. It makes zero sense to me how some of these actually fall, because half of them are prayers. But they average almost 90 points a game. It's insane. Like, they literally are one of the most fastest paced teams in the country, under the radar. They very good from the perimeter. They're not really the best defending team. And Memphis, it feels like a game where they're dead in the water, but like, you kind of want to back them to kind of be somewhat competitive in this game. Kind of may want to factor that in a little bit here to kind of make it a little bit more higher scoring game, because USF's going to score. I'm mainly relying on Memphis to kind of just help a little bit. I'm just asking not to go so dead yet. Just give us enough to hit the 160 and I'll be fine. I know I can trust USF, like we said, but yeah, I'm all over this over. This is one of my favorite totals of the day by far.
No, what jumped out to me, Cade, and by the way, I'm popping open some of these chats here, so I want to thank everyone for interacting and throwing some questions at us. But Cade, as you're talking about this total, I'm with you. What jumped out to me, number one, first thing, all three over recommendations. You hit the nail on the head. That green star has a 165. That's like a 4.5 point edge. Second model, kind of right on the number. Third model, about a point above. But talking about bet splits a little bit earlier with Adam, like if you look at DraftKings right now, 72% of bets are taking this under. So I think the public is just saying 161.5. That's a really, really high total. So therefore it's so high, it's got to go under. Like you'll see this, like in betting at Coors Field, like Coors Field has a total of like 13, and it's like, you got to go under just because it's so high. The fact that we've seen, even though like 3 out of 4 bets are taking the South Florida Memphis under, yet this total has risen. Kate, I don't know what number you got, but I think it opened. I'm seeing some openers like 158.5, 159. This thing has really shot up, even though the public's going under. So great point by you to really hammer this one home. That looks like a really sharp contrarian over. Anytime the public's on the under and the line goes up, automatically that gets me pretty excited. So looks like an overplay there. Adam, let me ask you, when you're looking at some Rithmm recommendations and just your approach in college hoops, are you equally sides and totals? Do you lean more to totals versus sides? How do you differentiate, sides versus totals, or are they all equal?
It kind of, I let the model and the line lead the way. Like I like if it's I try not to force totals, but generally I want totals with models to make it pretty straight, because my view on models in general is that I think that a model lends itself more to a total of the game, because models are built around possessions and those metrics, what's happening in each possession. So naturally it's reverse engineering from, we think X number of possessions are going to happen, and this is what's going to happen from a quality perspective. So they sort of backtrack from the total into, and this team's going to hit more of those points than the other. So in general, I like totals more. But for Rithmm, the other day, it was a very uncomfortable experience, because Rithmm just wasn't giving me any totals, and it was all these sides, and they were big conference sides. And I just said, all right, fine, I'm just going to trust on this. And I took a couple and it worked out. But generally, I'm a big totals guy. When the tournament comes, I know everyone's heard this, but I'm a part of this whole SGPN movement of first half unders. If you do ever get, the neutral court stuff is real, because sight lines are different. If you ever, by the way, see a college game that's at Barclays Center, Barclays Center is specifically designed to look good on television, so the lights reflect off it in a very different way. I have pretty much never missed an under in like 20 attempts with Barclays on any of these. You usually get a Big East school that's going to play there, but yeah, I was. It's funny because I had 2 of my 3 models for this game, for the Memphis game, they're under, but I totally see what you guys are saying on the over, and it's just kind of like wild to me because they're both like of these 3 models, like 2 of them are really confident. So when this happens, kind of going to talk to other folks and look at things that are happening. Like I looked at when I was looking at Ken Palm, like you said, like the possession, it's kind of hard to take an under on teams that have pace like this. I just because the opportunities are just going to be too much there. So I think I'm going to ride this over with you guys. It's going to be a team ride on this one.
Nice. Wolfpack unite. Let's go. Let's get some points here. I think too, we're always talking about, obviously on the show, pre-flop bets. We're talking about games that have not yet started. Reminder, Rithmm can help you with your live betting as well. Like let's say, I don't know, you got to run a Chipotle and get dinner for you and the girl. You missed getting the game in on time. Game's already started and it's only 2-0 with 2 minutes in. Maybe the live line on this game is down to 155. Kate, I know you've had a lot of success with this. Anytime you see a discrepancy play or you see it like in NFL, to me, it makes the most sense of like, a game total will be, let's say 45. And in the first quarter, it's 0-0. And the new live line is, 37.5. Live line the over, look for discrepancies. To me, that's an advantage of Rithmm not only helping you pre-flop, making a smart bet prior to the game starting, but again, filing these things away, whether it's pen and paper or you want to screenshot it on your phone to know that, hey, the model likes this over for the game. So if I miss the play or want to get in during the game at a better price, that's available to me. So just want to mention that because I think live betting is a whole other angle that you can really profit from. Cade, let's keep rolling. I think you got 1 or 2 more. What are you looking at next?
Just the one more. Yeah.
Okay.
Going to go to Northern Iowa and Evansville now. This one's frankly a little bit of a bigger spread. Nonetheless, I'm getting gross. I took Evansville at plus 16.5.
Is that the Purple Aces? Yeah, the Purple Aces. Yeah. It's one of my favorite mascots. I got to be like, I don't know the name of it, but it's one of my favorite team names is the Purple Aces.
I'm frightened them because I won't say my public favorite college team just lost to them about 2 years ago on their home floor. We'll talk about that another time. Evansville, I got them at 16.5. I know they're kind of creeping on down now around 14.5. My model had one of the biggest discrepancies earlier today. I know it's kind of changed now, but it was a green star at the time that I placed it. And I've never seen a discrepancy like this large, especially in college basketball. It had a 72.5% chance of a win probability, and they were projecting Evansville at 8.5 instead of the 16. So I was almost getting 10 points on a spread on a dog, which I thought was very interesting. I liked where the split stand. I like where my line stood because I still had them at 12.8, and then Rithmm even liked it even more. And they still are. Well, they were a green star at the time of it being the 16.5. I'm assuming obviously it's changed now since the lines kind of moved down a little bit, which makes sense. But they're still all on Evansville. They're just caution flags, but they're still decently higher discrepancies, which is what I still love and what I like to look for eventually anyways. But I love the gross dog here at 16.5 with a huge discrepancy. But they can also score. They can compete in this game, I think. There was one thing in particular about this game that was just kind of like eye-popping, and that was basically the fact of the last game that they played as well. Pretty much Northern Iowa's like owned the series essentially. I'm not going to go back like 4 years ago or whatever, but I mean, it is kind of a slight revenge angle. They did kind of get humbled a little bit where the line was 11.5 in the last meeting. That was borderline almost a little over a month ago now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. It was late January, maybe early February. Another low scoring game, but simply put, I mean, it's just like I like the spot. I think like the spot. Just like think it's Evansville. The line's kind of got a little bit too inflated, and obviously it's why you're seeing it come down a little bit more now. So I'll take my chances on the big dog here. So that's where I stand with that.
Well, you got a great number, man. You got 16 and a half. You're sitting, what is it? 14 and a half. I mean, it was 14 and a half, I don't know, an hour ago. Now you're down to 14. It's a 9:30 game. So there's some time here, but what jumped out to me is both DK and Circa have really good splits. Good job by UCAD on Evansville. Only 30% bets, 59% dollars on the spread at DK. Circa's got 53% bets, 77% dollars. So again, respecting the wise guys in the desert there. Good angle there on Evansville. I noticed Ken Palm, I think, had a 14-point game, so you're kind of right on the number. But let's look at what Rithmm has. 15.4, 13.9. That's a good one. And 13.9 again. Again, shop around. This is an important one because Caesars, BetMGM, they got 15 and a half. So you might still be able to get a decent number there. Let me throw it to you guys. Any thoughts on the total? Normally, I wouldn't ask this because it's a low number for a reason. And I think the under was sharp at one point because it opened. I'm seeing like that was a little bit different. One was 125 and a half up to 127. I thought I saw one book that dipped a little bit here, but either way, a really low number. I think the public mindset that worries you is it's so low it's got to go over. I don't want to fall into that trap, but all three models are saying go over. 129.6. You put this in a parlay piece if you are inclined. 133. That's a pretty big, 6-point edge. And then the top model, our rundown model, Cade, 131.1. Nice. So any thoughts from both of you guys on this over here?
Yeah, honestly, it sounds insane, but like the total is really one of the main reasons why I just liked Evansville so much. And it sounds nuts, but like the last two games that they played, obviously, like I said, 71-55 final, 62-48 final. There's a huge, massive trend going across the timeline right now of these Missouri Valley Conference tourney unders where it's just like cash cow. I think it's like 10-1 or whatever, and it's last like 11, something like that. Naturally, all my models have loved these Missouri Valley Conference overs today. I only played one, and it barely lost. I was upset because I got like the bet. Yeah, that Drake game. It was literally 7 points off of a closing total, and it lost by like a point. Whatever. There's obviously, like I said, with these two regular season meetings, that was on a home court and vice versa. When you get to these neutral courts, though, I mean, like you have these poor sight lines. I mean, obviously, you mentioned it before. The neutral court unders, in a way, in a sense, kind of tend to drop, but it's hard for me to advocate for an over, I guess, when I have such a big dog on such a very small total. So I guess it's kind of hard for me to cap both of those ends. I just like the neutral court side of backing the huge dog here with a really, really low total, given off the last couple of games, really. But nonetheless, I mean, if the models are saying so, I mean, let's get weird here.
Well, you want to get really weird. I mean, because like the big total, the big trend on the Missouri Valley, it's those first half unders too. So what if you could do? First half under, game over. So you get an immediate reverse correlation, and your dog to hold them to enough that they can backdoor that. I agree with you though, because the thing is, especially on a larger spreads, people think that a team's going to blow the other team out, so the score goes up. It's actually the opposite because they bring down the pace like it's nobody's business once they're up by a certain amount of points, or it's a battle and they're definitely not playing with any pace. So it's hard to. Sometimes, it's hard. It's hard on this because like mine is saying the same stuff as Josh's. I've got three models that love it. I got a parlay piece on it. Rithmm is just super confident in this over. I will say Rithmm does very well at what I call chase games. Those are the games at the end of the night. You'll notice in NFL and in NBA, those island games that are at the end of the night, the 9:30 game or the 10 p.m. game, Rithmm is very, very good at Brian over there always calls it separating dumb money from sharp money. And it's good at doing that for late games. So maybe this is one of those things where we look at and we come back to it at around 9:15 and we see if it's still up there. And, if Rhythm's still liking it, you go from there.
Great point. And let me ask you, Adam, because you're dialed into a lot of this stuff. Talk to me about models falling in and out, because I see this quite a bit where, like, I'm writing an article or doing my podcast at like noon or 1, and I clearly have multiple green stars on a game. I go do whatever I need to do. I come back 3 hours later, they're no longer a green star. So what's the process if like in terms of, how can you be confident that a green star at noon is still going to be a green star at 6 p.m.? Like, what factors does it fall out because the line moves, or Rhythm is constantly updating the model and it no longer likes it? I don't know if you have any insight to share on, because lines falling in or out of a recommended play.
So, I mean, what'll generally happen is it falls out of it's not a green star anymore because of price. Like, the projection is going to be still the projection based on what it thinks is going to happen, but the price is going to change because people are going to bet on it during the day. People don't agree. Honestly, one of the things that I find with Rhythm more than any other, we could have the Twitter CLV fights all the time, but Rhythm's really, really good at, oh, I lost CLV. It didn't effing matter. And so, I mean, there's not a lot of times when I'm using Rhythm that it's just so wildly off. It's either a coin flip, like Cade was talking about earlier, where it's, wow, I lost, like, I've lost tons by a hook. And honestly, if your model is losing something by a hook, it actually means it's working, because
Right.
it means it's finding edges. You're losing the coin flip, which is fine. Coin flip is 50-50. They come back. But it'll go to yellow. It's going to be because of price or because of how the market's reacting. So to Rhythm is now computing, okay, well, the difference to market is different because now this is like 130 versus 127 or whatever it is. But look, guys, we still like it. We still like this to go to 133. Just if you bought in now, you might get a better number or something like that. Rhythm doesn't care what the market thinks, which is kind of cool. And there's a lot of syndicates, a lot of pros that I work with that some use Rhythm or some are using their own models and stuff. And a lot of times I'm finding that either one, Rhythm is anticipating what they're already going to bet, or two, they are all doing their syndicate thing where they're all slamming a thing and Rhythm says, I don't care, and loses 6 points on the side or whatever it's going to be. And it doesn't matter. So I guess it's a long-winded way of just saying, you could, the spot that I have found that is best for Rhythm is that still middle of the day. I find it's going to kind of have the best accuracy. And, if market doesn't agree with you, that's on them, not you.
Well, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I have a perfect example for you. And this is why, to me, it gets a little complicated. And I think when you have, like, my whole point is marrying the market to Rhythm. Yeah. That gives me confidence that my philosophy, along with what, Rhythm, the AI model, the whole back end is in agreement with. But here's an example of a game that was very difficult for me to think about or bet on. It happens to be Middle Tennessee State and FIU. This was a game that was lit up as one of the most highest graded recommended plays for tonight. So if you look at what Rhythm is saying, it says, don't think about it. Play FIU.
Yep.
We got FIU. A lot of these spread models are relatively equal, minus 2.1, minus 1.9. But what I jumped out to me was Green Star recommended smart signal, play FIU on the money line. However, what makes it hard for me is that FIU opened at minus 2.5. FIU is getting nearly 60% of bets. And guys, I'm seeing this line get down to a pick 'em. So the market is telling me, don't play FIU. Middle Tennessee State's getting a ton of smart money. This line is tanking toward Middle Tennessee State. If Rhythm didn't exist, I would play Middle Tennessee State. But the fact that Rhythm, and you mentioned it perfectly, Adam, like, is taking a position regardless of what the market is doing based on their model, which I totally respect. But for me, I look at this FIU smart signal money line and I say, that's awesome, but I can't play it because this line is tanking the other way. So,
and it's totally a fair way to do it. Like, my tiebreaker on all of it is then I would do we could probably most safely say the Cade method, which is we go into what they've been playing. So like FIU is, so Middle Tennessee State is, after 3 straight home wins in conference, is now going to FIU. And FIU is, as I'm looking at it, they are off they are back home after 2 road games that they split. So this is where college starts to become, this feels like a spot. Like if you weren't even going to look at a model and look at a market and you just said, I got a team that's on 3 straight home games that's now going on the road in conference, you're going to say to me, it's an FIU spot. And so that's probably like, I mean, I don't know how everything works, but without looking at the model and just looking at how college works, which a lot of it's a spot, this is a very good FIU spot with 2 games left before the end of the season, especially given that you're getting a team that just had, I mean, having 3 straight home games in college is crazy. And that's a crazy comfort level in terms of not having to travel. So, and they went from cause it's, I don't know how far away Murfreesboro is from where's FIU? In Miami. So, I mean, it's not that far, but I mean, 3 straight home to then going out on the road, that's going to tell me that's an FIU spot to me just based on the scheduling.
Yeah, so the spot, Rithmm, clearly saying FIU.
Yeah.
Again, I'm stubborn. I would
pass,
have to.
Dude, you can pass.
I'd have to lay off. Or like MTSU, I mean, they're sharp, but it's also like I could have gotten 2.5 and now it's down to
exactly. And you don't want to buy
the
worst could be to be buying at the worst number. Like that just doesn't make sense at all.
Right.
Yep.
Cade, break the tie. What do you think, or how do you handle games where maybe Rithmm is saying, knocking you over the head? This is Green Star. This is a great angle. You got to play it. But maybe the market is telling you otherwise.
I think it's different for me only because, like I said, when I make my own numbers and stuff like that, I think that kind of takes the tiebreaker a lot. Like I've always pretty much said, like if my stuff agrees with Rithmm, I'm usually on 9 out of 10 times. Splits in college basketball, especially these mid-majors, are something that's like prevalent. Like it's very evident to know like what sides are rather sharp, what sides are rather not, whether that's like low ticket higher dollar kind of thing or just like complete like reverse line movement or something like that. To me personally, I'm as pure as a spot college basketball better as it gets. I mean, like I've like I'm looking at like Power 4 spots and stuff like that, which have been ridiculous this year. And like usually I know this has been a pretty hot topic around the timeline with a couple of the guys that I've spoke with. Like in Power 4, it just hasn't been like the same as it's been. Like you kind of used to seeing like these home dogs, like these upsets, the court storms, all this jazz. It's like it's been pretty chalk in terms of like Power 4 conference. But you go to conferences like these, it's like the whole like thing like shifts. It's just like pick 'em lines. It's short money line favorites. It's all that stuff where it's looking at the splits, looking at the spot itself. If that stuff agrees, I'm all in. Like if like I like to think it's pretty simple, but it's really not because a lot of the times I'm kind of contradicting myself anyways. But yeah, I've been in the same boat as you, Josh, multiple times where like it's like a caution flag and it kind of makes me hesitant a little bit, but nonetheless everything else agrees. So it's just like because cautions don't necessarily mean it's a pass because you can still kind of use it in a way as a play or as a confidence meter kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just because of the projection itself. Like,
yeah,
that's why I like the app so much, essentially, just because the recommendations are just like a cherry on top. But like the model's a model. It's going to project anything regardless. It's just going to highlight certain numbers that think it's better than others, maybe. But yeah, different philosophy, but I think same principle ish.
No, it makes sense. All right, boys. Well, we pretty much wrapping up the show here. I want to give a special shout out to our guy, Adam Rosenberg. Busy guy, got 2 little kids and found a way to talk betting with us for an hour. So thank you, Adam. And
anytime.
Now we're going to make sure that you join us again for more streams.
Yeah, dude. We'll do it. We'll have to do some stuff when the bracket comes out. We should do one and get together and have some fun with it. I love hanging out with you guys, so I appreciate it. Thanks for letting me come by.
Sweet.
Of course, man. You're always welcome. And hey, we're going to do March Madness till the bitter end, but baseball is not far. So hopefully we'll have some baseball shows we can talk and have you in here, Adam. But I want to thank Adam. Want to thank Cade. Reminder, as always, download the Rithmm app. Give it 5 stars in the App Store. Use promo code START25. Get a little discount. Make sure you go to the homepage and generate your bracket. Reminder, it's very, very simple. All you got to do is just go to the homepage. And if I can find it for you, just click build my brackets and it'll go off whatever. You can either go with the house any of the models that you've created, but it's all. And of course, we'll be right back at it next Thursday night. So let's take us home, buddy.
I have one thing. If you're watching Michigan, Iowa, or Michigan State Rutgers, instead of all these other games, shame on you.
It's a great call out.
I already have ESPN Plus.
Yeah, what are you doing?
We're already dialed in. All right, But yeah, I'm ready to have a really good month. March, this is what obviously this stuff is made of. So I'm really excited to use the bracket generator again, like last year. Super exciting times over on the app and just in the sport in general. So should be a next fun few weeks ahead.
Awesome. Well said, my man. So yeah, I want to wish everyone good luck. Hopefully you can cash some tickets here. Thank you as always for tuning in. And one thing you can do to help us, tell one person you know about Rithmm. Family member, colleague, buddy of yours, even someone you don't like. Be the bigger man and introduce them to Rithmm and help them cash some tickets. So thank you all for tuning in. Good luck with your sweats, and we'll see you next Thursday night at 6 p.m. for another edition of the Rithmm Rundown, of course, powered by Rithmm.